The Atlanta Braves and the Houston Astros duke it out in the 2021 World Series. Diamond Diehards is on. Joe Rizzo here bringing you baseball along with the dog, Jeff Healy. We're both in New Jersey and we're not in studios or anything like that. So if you hear thunder and you see lightning flashing and we're still on the air, then that's good. So that's what we're going with. And boy, it's been a long haul, but dog, for the first time since 2019 now, we've made it through an entire baseball season capped by a World Series, and it's the Astros and the Braves, neither of whom either of us picked. In fact, the dog and I get so many things right so many months ahead of time that when we did our brackets before the playoffs, we got a combined 0 teams in the Final Four in baseball.
I got the first game right and every other game wrong.
Yeah. Dog picked the Red Sox to win the AL wild card. I picked the Dodgers to win the NL wild card, and literally every single one of the rest of our picks were wrong. However, we get so much other stuff right that, like, usually we're better at predicting stuff like months in advance before anybody's even talking about it. I think this stuff was just too laid out for us there, dog. So that being said, let's take care of some business.
If only we put in any time and effort into following baseball this past year.
Yeah. That's all we do. Okay, let's get the business stuff out of the way. Follow us everywhere at Diamond Diehards. If you're a podcast person on the audio side, iTunes and Spotify are where you want to go, or the other podcast apps as well. We should be pretty much everywhere at this point. Search out Diamond Diehards and you'll find us there. Hit that subscribe or follow button. Give us a nice rating, 5 stars, write something, whatever. It's all good. If you can. If not, don't worry about it, but help us grow a little bit. And if you like the video stuff, we're streaming live at the moment on our Facebook group, so check us out there. And if you're catching this on video at a later point, then hit the subscribe button on YouTube or follow us on our Facebook group or wherever you want to go to check out the video portion of the show. We are on social media everywhere at Diamond Diehards. On Twitter, I'm the one who's handling the Diamond Diehards account there, and you can follow the dog at Jeff Healy 8. That's the number 8 on Twitter if you want to interact with the dog. And I know the energy people down in Houston are going to really want to do that after this show, because I have a feeling he might ruffle some feathers down there. Worlds collide, Jerry. This could be one of those shows for the dog. And if you do listen to the show, you know that the first segment that we do to kick things off is Veteran of the Day. And for that, we bring in our Veteran of the Day emeritus. That is the dog, Jeff Healy. Dog, take it away.
All right, thanks, Riz. This one, Riz, for those of you on the pod, not being able to see it, but actually is rocking his Fordham sweatshirt, looking quite natty, looking pretty sharp. It's a big maroon F for Fordham, not for the average grade. Couple in there. But our Veteran of the Day actually works at Fordham, so I figured it would kind of put it together as usual. Both surprising each other on this. So our Veteran of the Day is actually U.S. Marine Corps Sergeant Matthew Butler. He served for 24 years in the Marine Corps as a combat correspondent, which is pretty cool. I got to talk to some of those guys a little bit along the way. Towards the end, I was a brigade personnel officer and stuff, so occasionally we'd run into those kind of guys while hanging out with the brass and whatnot. But pretty cool position, and he actually started off a bunch of their social media back in like 2010, 2014. So people always sort of have a impression of Marines, the specific stereotype and whatnot, and they're always experiments, they're always pushing the edge on different things that they do to help the Marine Corps go out and achieve their mission. And part of it is social media and getting the news out. on what the Marine Corps is doing for the country. So Matt did all that. I retired from the Marine Corps after 24 years of service. Went over to Fordham, worked, studied 2 years Fordham. I think he had associates coming in, so got his degree and actually stayed on as staff and has been working for the last 5 years as the director of military and veteran services at Fordham University. I've interacted with him a little bit on LinkedIn and so forth. He's a big supporter of the military veteran community, particularly with Fordham. So we thank him very much for all he does for veterans out there, and of course thank him for 24 years of service to this country, followed by another 5 years helping the next generation too. So that's kind of what it's all about. So this one goes out to you, United States Marine Corps Sergeant Matthew Butler.
All right. Gotta love it. Because
good guy.
The Fordham family is always near and dear to our hearts. So thank you. We talked a little bit in this first little opening segment about how neither of us saw it coming. We can't feel bad about not seeing the Braves coming. We definitely can feel dumb about not seeing the Astros coming, right? Or was it heart? Or was it heart?
Yeah, it's a lot of heart. I'll be honest on that one. And actually, I think even in the picks, what I was saying, I had the White Sox beat them, so
So did I.
It was a little early on it, but yeah, a little bit of heart overhead on that one. But they're gutty and found a way once again, and just find a way to get the key hit at every time. Jose Altuve somehow pulls it out every freaking time. Just maddening to those of us with teams whose guys don't pull it out every time that they come down for a critical situation on that one. But no, they're not the best team. They don't deserve to be there. Damn it! There, I said it. Bunch of cheating Astros. There. How's that, Houston? I still remember 85 and 86.
By the way, this is probably should be saved for Diamond Diehard final segment, Diehard Dads. But I see producer Xavier's school is calling now because of this storm that's coming in. My phone is ringing, and he's about to get no school tomorrow. So we'll see if producer Xavier just busts in. See, we figured out a way to not necessarily make producer Xavier obsolete because he does help out with the videos and stuff. But on the live streams, when we're just streaming to Facebook, I figured out a way where I could kind of do it without completely screwing it up, especially on a school night. So now it's not a school night anymore. So if he's monitoring the live stream like he should be getting his ass in here. And that would have been his way of finding out that he has no school tomorrow. I don't know why they're canceling school for rain now. I mean, like, geez.
Was it baseball? There's rainouts? There's rainouts in school?
It's a little, guess.
It's a bus, not a Yugo.
I know. Water. Nah, what are you going to do? It's the regional school. So I guess they're just, oh no, they're making it a virtual day.
Oh.
That kind of works. That kind of works for me though, because now I don't have to get up like way early to drive him to the bus. So I'm all about the virtual day for producer Xavier. Maybe we'll go live during one of his classes tomorrow. Or it's today, tomorrow. I don't know. Depends when you're listening. Okay. So yeah, we were definitely going with the heart, where we didn't sort of see the Astros coming. And, the next thing you turn around. And since the cheating scandal, they've won, 28 playoff games since then, including 18 on the road. So I think that narrative's pretty much dead and buried. But, those players are still out there. And, look, I don't even know where I'm at this point. Like, I just watch the games, dog. And I don't have a dog in the fight. But I do have an opinion when I'm watching the games, and I just let my feelings dictate who I'm rooting for. And when I was watching the Braves and the Dodgers, I was rooting for the Braves. I really don't know why. I just kind of was. And then when I was watching the Astros and the Red Sox, I was not rooting for the Red Sox. I felt like I was rooting against the Red Sox. So I wasn't really rooting against the Dodgers, but I was rooting for the Braves. I wasn't really rooting for the Astros, but I was rooting against the Red Sox. And that's the Yankee fan perspective, or at least this Yankee fan's perspective. But Dog, I want to know what you were doing through the ALCS and the NLCS with your heart when you're just watching the games. And I know we were watching them, maybe not every inning of every game because of life, but our text thread was pretty hot during a lot of the big points of a lot of these games. So I mean, I know that our group was really pretty on top of what was going on. I just want to know what your heart was telling you as a Met fan about who you're rooting for, or were you more rooting against?
I'm having a flashback to our one-on-one days and Mr. Viking talking about rooting for injuries. It's funny, right? It's irritating to see the teams that you kind of have rivalries with going on and doing well and stuff. But it's also kind of liberating, right? You're kind of watching, like, you're watching, you're into the game, you may be rooting for individual players and stuff like that. Like, I kind of, weirdly enough, I had a little bit of a soft spot for Freddie Freeman. I think he's just a great player, great dude and stuff. So it's tough to really hate on him even when he's, killing the Metsies and stuff. So kind of rooting for individual guys, individual matchups and stuff, and you do get to root, I think, a little bit more as just sort of a baseball fanatic, right? And just going out and sort of enjoying the game and sort of following the flow of the game and whatnot, and it was kind of liberating. Yeah, we'll say that both the Dodgers. I mean, I got you had you had Turner out there a little bit, so I got a little bit thing going out there for him too and stuff, and um, I guess I was kind of rooting for the Braves versus the Dodgers, right? It's just like the super money guys buying everything, et cetera, et cetera. So I kind of was bite my tongue a little bit and say, well, to heck with it. I guess I'll root for the NL East here, um, and going for the Braves a little bit, and then in the AL side. Again, it always sort of starts out. I always start out trying to kind of root for the Red Sox, and this has probably been for like the last 20 years or so. When like the Red Sox have played the Yankees, I'm like, oh, I'll root for the Red Sox against the Yankees, and I get 3 or 4 games into it, and I just get so irritated by the Red Sox and the Red Sox fans and all the lunacy, whatever. Like by the end, I start rooting for the other guys. So I didn't make it quite that far. I guess I was still kind of rooting a little bit for the Red Sox versus the Trash Stros because I hate them even more. But ooh, that was a big flash.
Wow,
Yeah,
we're almost in.
guess God's an Astros fan.
Yeah. Wow, and think about it. We're like what, 30, 40 miles apart.
Yeah, something like that.
We got that flash like practically. Well, I guess there's a little bit of a delay, but not much.
Yeah,
When
that was
as we do this through Zoom, but wow, that there was another little one.
okay. All right, take it. Actually, I don't take it back.
No, don't take it back. What
So,
about
yeah, so
the?
I kind of found it fun, and it was nice to kind of follow along and kind of root with the rest of the buddies and stuff, right? And just kind of getting to enjoy it, and you don't have to stress it too much, right? So did lose a lot of sleep though. Those late games are kind of killing us.
Oh, I know, I know.
Like
I'm like
12:30, whatever, night after night after night. It was a couple bad picks I had in the day job.
I told Debbie Rizzo like today, I'm like I'm just so run down. Like I do this show, but that's once a week, maybe sometimes twice, but like even sometimes it's once every 10 days even, right? So it's not a lot. Even our longer form shows are still it's half the length of one Joe Rogan episode, right? Like, and he's doing sometimes two or three a day. So an hour and a half of talking on here is one thing, but I do play by play for New Jersey Rockets girls hockey on the weekend, and it was a triple header on Sunday, and I'm like, my by the third game, my voice was just shot. I don't have the professional pipes in order the way I used to, so I got to work on that a little bit. But um, and then I was just telling Debbie Rizzo, I'm like, I just feel, I could tell, like I feel energy level, it's fine, but I could tell like my body's telling me like I'm definitely like a little run down lately.
Yes.
So I think that I was like, well, that means I've noticed that before, and I think what that usually means is that uh, the playoffs in whatever sport that I'm watching at the time have been good. That's usually what it means.
That's
Like
true.
there would be times I remember when, and this is going to be a while ago, but when the Giants had their run to the Super Bowl that they lost, which they've won four and they've lost one. I was working in Connecticut. I was working in Stamford and commuting from New Jersey to there. So that commute would be anywhere from 45 minutes if I did it, when there was zero traffic when it was still dark out to, 3 hours on like a snow day. Um, dog getting the diamond dog up in the bullpen. Phone rings. Got to make that joke every episode now. And I remember like during that time also the Devils were on the run to a Stanley Cup. And I remember during those respective times where, I was just so into it. And I'm like staying up late to watch these games. And, there was no way I was going to miss any of them. And the football game's not so much, but like the Giants were on primetime a lot that year. So, it's a Monday night and the Monday night game ends at, after midnight sometime. And, you're up at 5 o'clock in the morning and, turning around. And then the next night there's something else going on. The Devils have some kind of game and they're on the West Coast. It's just one of those confluence of things. And I'm like, you know what? I don't care. Like I'm missing the sleep now and I don't care because my teams are rolling. So then you get down to like the baseball playoffs and like, the Yankees were one and done. The Mets weren't even in it. And I'm like, wow, this must be pretty good because, you know, I'm beat. I'm run down. And it's the last week of October. So good for that, I say. That means baseball's doing well.
That's right.
Something about it is going well. There's a lot of controversy that's stirred up right now between the analytics versus the old school. And I think there's a lot of people that are in our realm and on our timelines, like Shigon Nation, saying, "Wow, Snitker and Dusty Baker, right? These are not analytics guys. These are the Mike Schilt types, right?"
Yep. Like us
We,
last episode. Yep.
yeah, we were talking about it last episode, and these are the guys that have outlasted the, more analytics driven. Now, Alex Core is probably somewhere in between there, right? Like he's kind of the guy that has sort of married the two of those pretty well, where he definitely is using a lot of the analytics, but he still has a lot of the control and he's allowed to kind of like make these moves. He's not being programmed from upstairs to push buttons and execute things based on 10,000 use cases that he has memorized, right? So interesting that it goes to there. You and I did talk about it when we were previewing uh, the first round of series, and we talked about how between Dusty Baker and Tony La Russa, there was going to be a 70-something managing in the ALCS, and yet we still didn't give enough credit there to help get one of those through, and it turns out to be Dusty Baker, who was on deck for the Atlanta Braves when Hank Aaron hit home run number 715. By the way,
There you
that
go.
was the tweet from the other night.
That's one. That's a goodie.
It was one of those nights where for some reason I'm like, how come like nobody's seeing these tweets? Like this should be there should be more eyes on these. I wonder about the algorithms, dog. I do. You
Yeah.
tweet links like to the shows like this, and it's like I look at those tweets. I'm like, those tweets do the worst out of like any tweets.
Yeah.
Like they're trying to pump you for advertising money. And then you advertise on Twitter, and it's like, oh, come on, dude. Seriously? I'm never fucking clicking that. Like the only clicks you get advertising on Twitter are the ones by accident, right? You're like, oh, what the hell is
Engagement one and a
this?
half.
Yeah, like, oh my God, why did I just click this? Get out of here. Even if it's interesting, even if you clicked it and you're like, oh, this is kind of interesting. Oh wait, this was a promoted
Nah,
tweet.
I don't
Get
like
the
it.
fuck out of here.
Not
Back
even one of
button.
it.
Close the app. Back button. Whatever. Uncle Paul wants to talk about the CBA
Throw the phone in
stoppage.
the harbor like Tom Brady.
Uncle Paul wants to talk about the CBA stoppage. I don't think we're going to get into that for this one. I think we're gonna save that one because we're trying to keep it. Um, we're trying to keep it a little bit tidy tonight. We're not doing a quick hits, but it's because we'll have the regular segments. But I think we're going to try to keep it tidy, even though producer Xavier doesn't have school tomorrow and
Yeah,
tomorrow
we
as
probably
well.
need to devote a show to it, right? It's like a full show.
Yeah,
We gotta
I
do
think
like our how to fix the Yanks, how to fix the Mets, maybe a little retrospective on the season, a little forward one.
maybe
It's
get a quote unquote CBA expert or a different voice than ours just to
yeah,
see. We'll work on that. I think it's, I want to celebrate the World Series here. Like I
yeah.
want to celebrate a World Series where, look, the Astros are going to back their team and Houston's going to back that, you know, television programming with the Astros on it because the Texans stink, and even though Texas is a football place, they're going to back the Astros hard, and Atlanta's that weird sort of transient market where I mean I have people like we're from New Jersey, like I have people like I could name like I could tick off like a whole bunch of Braves fans. They were like sort of that alternate team for a lot of people in the New York area in the 90s where they didn't want to go for the Yankees and they weren't going to go for the Mets and like, "Oh, Glavine, Smoltz and Maddox, like these guys are good. Let me go for them." So, um, there's a few people around me that are big Braves people and Atlanta's going to back them. I mean, baseball people are all over the place. So, and they'll like, will they come out for the Falcons in Atlanta? Yes. Will they come out for the Hawks? No. The Thrashers left and went back to Winnipeg. But, the Braves keep getting new parks, and, I think they'll be backed pretty heavily. The people who are into it are really into it in Atlanta and Houston. They kind of dog remind me of hockey fans. Whereas, there's generally way more baseball fans than there are hockey fans, but the hockey fans that are hockey fans are really hockey fans. They're like dedicated. And to me, that's the Astro baseball fan and the Brave baseball fan. They're really, they have good numbers. They don't have the numbers of like, the Yankees, Mets, Dodgers, even maybe like the Giants, but or Cardinals, but they're up there. They're kind of in the conversation, and there are a couple of franchises that have had a lot of sustained success over the past few decades, but their fans, the ones that root for them are diehard, and they're good fans. They're good fan bases from both cities.
Yeah, I don't know. That might be pushing me too hard on the whole Atlanta love here. But no, actually, I do agree. Atlanta fans are pretty solid. Atlanta's kind of interesting too. Atlanta's like of all the cities down south, right? You get more flux through in Atlanta, right? It's the kind of cosmopolitan capital of the South. Um, so you will get some flow in there, particularly from the Northeast, but kind of a lot of people will kind of move down. That was sort of a big trade probably 20 years or so ago. A lot of people kind of moving down to Atlanta area and whatnot. So you do get some flows through that, and I think that probably helped out a little bit on there. Um, and then Astros, I would say argue to a little less degree. And again, you sort of highlighted, right? I mean, Texas is really football central. I mean, I look on my Twitter feed, and Riz is kind of highlighting before. I get a lot of oil and gas guys from from Texas all over. A good amount in Houston, a good amount in West Texas, and everything too. And their big thing is like high school football. Then it's like college feed and stuff, and like and then you'll get some like NFL or stuff like mixed in there, and then baseball. There's a couple guys involved. Wow, he's rocking and rolling out there. This guy, I think he's coming from the south too, so I think it's coming your way. But it is
Like the World Series, the storm is coming from the south.
that is true. That's great. That's a great one. Actually, two big storm cities.
Yeah.
But, they take it to a whole nother level. We're not used to that kind of stuff. So, but yeah, it should be entertaining. I mean, it should be a fun series. I mean, I think this is gonna be one to be interesting. Like the baseball sort of purists, I think I will hopefully get to kind of enjoy this one a little bit. The rest of the country, I don't know. I mean, Houston, Atlanta, that's not typically your big draw on it, right? But we'll see. It's the cap of a good season. It's the cap of a good postseason. So if you're into baseball and you like baseball, this should be a good series for you. And we'll see what how much you can pull of the rest of the country coming in.
Oh, I hear the rumble. That was perfect. You like stopped and let
I
the
don't
rumble
know.
go. Hopefully it comes over for our viewers and listeners to be able to hear that. Um, so let's talk old school again because you have some key guys for both teams that don't have the walk rate that is so desirable, right? In this day and age. And I mean, basically it's like the whole Braves remade outfield. And now, dog, you know what's big? Think about this. They got Jorge Soler back late in the NLCS after he had to be out because of COVID protocol. And the other guys that they have in the outfield, more than got the job done. Now they go to Houston because the Astros had a better record, so they are the home team. And that's the way it goes once you get to the World Series now. Whichever team had the better record is the one that gets home field. In fact, if the Dodgers had won, they would have been the home team despite being a wild card. But when you're within your own league, it maintains, wild card is less than division winner. And then, between two division winners, it's the better record. So the Astros get the 4 home games, which means 4 DH games. And the Braves, I don't know, if the universal DH comes in, these could be the last 3 games we see in baseball indefinitely, where pitchers are in the regular batting lineup as pitchers and not substituted for designated hitters. So that, in a way, is potentially historic, right?
Yes.
So, but now the Braves get to add Soler into that mix. Like, that's kind of a boon. And these guys, like, he's one of those guys. Does he walk a lot? Not really. Does Adam Duvall walk a lot? Not really. Does Eddie Rosario walk a lot? Not really. Those guys are used to swinging the bat. Jock Peterson, he might
Yeah.
walk a little bit more than the other guys. Those guys are used to swinging the bat and making contact. What about for the Astros? Yuri Gurriel. Think that guy, has the Kevin Mitchell mantra in Spanish. Only the postman walks, right? Remember when Mitch said
Yeah,
that?
walk off the island.
Yeah, he can't walk off the I mean, so you have guys that are, Carlos Correa I don't think has a high walk rate, right? Like these guys are used to swinging the bat, making contact, and sure, like is hitting into a double play worse than striking out? Yes, but what about all the other times that you make contact and you don't strike out? You have productive outs, or you force fielders to
Make
make
plays, right?
plays, and
That's came
and
up throughout the postseason.
it has, and the Braves have been a team to make a lot of those plays, but also get earn a lot of the strikeouts. So Jeff Fry, our buddy, at the letter 3 the number J Fry, right?
Hey, Fred,
F-R-Y. Yeah, it's like
I'll pull it up while you're chatting.
so. As he says, and,
The
and
problem when you have it saved.
this is the part that I agree with the most about this situation. The more balls that you put into play, the more times you force the defense to make plays. And even if they're routine plays, you start to add up to the point where you make them make more plays. And guess what? They're going to make more misplays, even if they're not errors, even if they're not, blatant misplays, whatever. The more balls that you put into play, the more chances you have of the odds going into your favor that something good is going to happen, especially when you get into a big spot in the game.
Yes.
So when you have guys now, Doug, I'm going to go way back to our Fordham days since we used it as Veteran of the Day. I have the Fordham sweatshirt on, and it's relevant. So back in our Stratomatic heyday, where there was Strat, and then there was like the rest of life.
Going back to the Jersey Thunder days.
Yeah.
Tie into there.
So what we noticed and what we became enlightened to at that time was some of the sabermetric stuff. And I don't know that necessarily the sabermetricians had really intended to have the game turn as much toward analytics as it has. Nonetheless, it was what really was starting to come about in that late 80s, early 90s was the revelation that not necessarily strikeouts were good, but walks were good.
Yeah.
Because if you're walking, what you're doing is you're not making an out. So that was sort of the original premise of on base. The original premise of valuing on base percentage that came, evident in Moneyball was that a walk is just better than an out. You're not making it out. There was never talk that a walk was as good as a hit, except in the situations where it's obviously as good as a hit, meaning it's as good as a single when you're leading off an inning. Why? Because there's no basic difference except for the fact that, a single could result in an error and you might get an extra base or something like that. But, for one base in the obvious situation, sure. That wasn't, that was the premise of this thing at the beginning. It's evolved to a whole different level. But one of the things that I noticed in playing these games like over and over and over, and in terms of, it being stats versus real life. And I remember having this like actual thought as like Frank Thomas was coming on the scene, and this was a guy who he just walked so much, and you're like, oh my God, like you can't get this guy out. And then you got to the playoffs, and now I'm taking this from, the value of Frank Thomas and like Stratomatic, and then seeing his value in real life where, yeah, he gets on base a ton. He hits a lot of homers. But then you get into a playoff type situation and it's the eighth inning and you need a hit. And his eye is so good that ball that's on the outside corner, like he knows as well or better than the umpire if it's a strike or not. But he's still at the mercy of the umpire, whether the umpire is going to call it a strike or a ball. But what you really want is, in that situation, you want Kirby Puckett, who walks 34 times a year in 700 plate appearances. He sees the ball on the outside of the plate. It's like, I'm fucking hitting that ball down the right field line for a double. And then maybe I'll just keep running to third for a triple, and I'm going to drive in the winning run, and then I'm going to grab a ball over the fence in the outfield to end the game. Right? So to me, when you had a player like that, now, of course, I'm talking about Hall of Famers here, two extraordinary right-handed hitters who were contemporaries, when their careers overlapped, late 80s, early 90s, and then Big Hurt, played into the 2000s. But in a playoff type situation, the value of a player who can hit the ball and put it in contact and make something happen versus one who needs to walk in order to be more productive. Like, I want the guy who can hit. I'll take less on base to have more average, because that's what's going to win me a close playoff game. That's what's going to happen when I'm playing in a playoff game and I'm facing better pitchers. I'm not facing the Indians, the Guardians' fifth starter, or their, fourth reliever on, a warm Tuesday afternoon in July, right? Like, I'm facing Brusdar Graterol, and I need somebody who can hit that guy when it's a borderline pitch. Like, I don't want to wait for the walk. He might walk two guys and he might strike out the next three because he throws 103 and his ball moves 20 inches. But like, I want somebody who could hit it, and that's what has propelled the Braves. And Eddie Rosario hit 560. He got 14 hits against the Dodgers in his 6-game series. Think about that.
That was insane. And the hits he were getting were rockets. Like, it's not like, oh, a couple there, a couple there. I mean, he was hitting bullets all over the place. I think you make a great point on that. Like, like the value of the walk and driving up pitch counts on pitchers and stuff. And again, that that's sort of like a 2000 onwards, sort of real big focus on the pitch counts on pitchers, and being able to get a starter out by having him throw 110 pitches. Like, back in the day, who cared, right? That was 110 on his way to 160 if it needed to be. If he had this good stuff, he was going to keep going and not let the manager take him out. Now it's like, we kind of play our cards right. We'll get this guy in the 6th inning and then take our chances. I think it was interesting when you're kind of talking about like Stratton. I think it was interesting, and maybe sort of the good part of analytics was kind of setting up what's the right matchup, right? The batter versus the pitcher and these sorts of situations and stuff. And like, I think where it's kind of gotten ugly is now analytics is driving like how the how the hitter has to approach the pitcher. And instead of hitting the ball, to all fields and all this and all that, it's got to be the high launch angle, and you only have to swing it at this kind of pitch, and otherwise you can't do anything with it. And no going the other way, no laying down a bunt, no doing anything sort of basics in the baseball. And like you were saying, in the playoffs, right, with the shifts on out there, the ability to be able to drive that ball down the line and get a guy to second or get a guy from first to third. I mean, that really opens it up, right? These tight games, that is a big difference rather than just getting that walk out there. And the fact that the players currently seem to be incapable, or they're not allowed to adjust. Like you're saying, Kirby Puckett, right? Maybe most of the time Kirby Puckett would take his walk and next man up, whatever else like that. But critical situation, I'm the best hitter out there. I'm gonna drive the run in. Period. And even if it's not the perfect pitch and it's not my perfect home run swing, I know I can hit this ball. I can hit it hard, and I can make good things happen. Right? And it was that flexibility to allow the best players to play at their best. And we've lost a little bit of that.
We've lost a lot of
it. That seems like that's an unlockable value that I think you're going to start to see teams turn towards, right? I think the pendulum has gone as far towards like the three outcomes as we're going to see, and I think we're slowly going to start to see it swing back the other way.
I love the shift. You know why I love the shift, Dog? Because I want to be there watching when the sea change happens, and these teams just start abusing the shift with guys that can hit the ball.
Yep.
Like, and they can hit it where they want, when they want, with a certain degree of certainty, meaning they could raise their contact rates compared to what they are. I mean, it's still the hardest thing to do in sports, right? To hit a baseball. But look, you go back to the Yankees in a key game against the Rays where Stanton got a double and the Rays started to shift over for Joey Gallo, and Stanton just watched him shift, and he just ran to third, like before the pitch even happened. He's just like, and then, Gallo bunted down third, right? And then Stanton just walked home, and Gallo was on base. So, like, it was a 4-2 game. I think that made it 4-3. So they handed them a run. Like, how long are you going to get by handing teams runs? Like, start taking it. Take it every time they give it to you. Every single time, just take it. By the way, did you see Joey Gallo's? Did you see his retweet?
I did not.
Oh my God! I gotta find it. I gotta read this.
While Riz is pulling up that Jeff's is 03 J Fry.
Okay.
It's
O. It's the letter O though. It's
letter
not a
O.
zero.
Yeah.
Okay. So at Stace Gotts tweets, "Oh my God, my whole show is going to be about this article, isn't it? Would anyone like to come on so I'm not ranting alone?" And what Stace Gotts did was quoted this from an article. It's about the Yankees, but it's not only Aaron Boone's responsibility. Cashman has to fill the room with troops of the right pedigree. Take, for instance, Joey Gallo, who I am told would lay out his uniform piece by piece in front of his locker before dressing, then undress if the fit wasn't right. Sometimes this would happen more than once before the slugger was ready to take the field. Obviously, Gallo is a quirky guy, and everyone is entitled to their rituals. But couple these habits with a 160 average as a Yankee, with nearly a 50% strikeout rate in the only pennant race of his career. One scout asked me rhetorically, "Does anyone do background checks over there?" meaning with the Yankees. The implication, of course, is that Gallo wasn't and isn't a match for this market. So Joey Gallo sees this and he retweets it. He puts this up. He goes, "Me literally gets dressed. Media. Yup, that's why he sucks. Joey
That's awesome.
Joey Gallo is my hero.
Joey Katz, I love that.
He is my hero.
Literally gets dressed. Oh, that's a goodie.
I'm just tweeting him back.
Do they do a background checks? The guy lays the stuff out. Yeah, let me tell you, that was the worst problem I had with a player. That doesn't feel right. Let me change it. That sounds like a smart move. Hey. Oh boy.
God.
That's a goodie.
How great is that?
That is awesome.
Me literally gets dressed. Media. That's why he sucks. Oh my God. It's I mean, it's him. He's like, what is he supposed to feel like? Like, is he, oh my God. But he's so right.
Like his manager's like, his manager's like, just ignore it. Don't do this. Don't that. Whatever to it. And you know, he went in and played it perfectly. Right, makes him look like a buffoon. The guy who was tweeting it.
Oh my God. No, well, it's Stace, her. Stace Gotts. Wait,
Yeah.
let me get the link. Where are we? Over here. Copy. Let's see. How do we copy the link, dog? Usually in these times, I'm like, hey, dog, just keep talking. And then.
Sorry. So let's see. What have we been talking about here?
Oh, boy. Joey Gallo, we love you. I look, whatever. I don't care how critical or not critical I was.
Yeah, what's your view on Gallo?
Look, I like that he's athletic. I like his defense a lot, and I've said to back up what I've said, like I don't think he's a useless player at all. Like I think that like practically any player, if he doesn't fit in with the rest of the guys that you have, then sure it doesn't make sense. But as a lefty bat, if you could bat him like sixth or below,
yep,
which probably they could, he's an excellent defensive outfielder. He's more than capable at the corners, and he can play center, which I've seen him do. Not a lot because I didn't watch the Rangers a lot, but I know he played there, and I know he could play the corners in the infield. So I'm all, as long as he's up for it, utilize him a little more as a Swiss Army knife. Put him in more positions to succeed, and guess what? He might succeed. Work with him on, like, he could run a little bit. He's shown a proclivity to throw those bunts down third. Tell him, look, every time they shift you, I don't care what the situation is. Just bunt it down third. Just bunt it there. Go ahead. Get on every time. Yeah,
okay.
Well, he doesn't have to hit 400. But every time he does that, let's go back full circle to what we were talking about before. Every time he bunts down third and gets on base, he's not striking out.
Well,
right?
What I was saying, hitting 400, like bunting against the shift, right?
Right.
That his average is going to go through the roof. He's
Yeah.
ain't good at it, right? There's one guy in the entire field, you know, or the pitcher run into that one guy trying to field the ball, right?
It won't.
Good things are going to happen.
Right.
That.
There'll be times when it doesn't work.
Yeah.
And it has to be conducive in the count and everything like that. But, I mean, if that opportunity pops up 25 times a year, that seems like a reasonable number, right? How many times is he going to get on? 20? I mean, what's going to be those other times? Occasional pop-up. Maybe he'll foul one off. You know, could always try it twice, right?
Into three guys, right? What's it going to do hitting against one guy?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess the argument is he's not even hitting it to three guys. He because of his high strikeout rate. But make it okay. So you have a player whose profile is he walks a lot and he has a high strikeout rate. So how do we reduce the number of outs that he's making? Well, the shift is handing you a way to do that. So let him do it. The guy's a baseball player. He's a professional baseball player. I trust that he's got enough talent to do it.
Yep.
You just got to empower him to do it. And you'll get the results. And like I said too, his defense, I'm fine with it. Is he going to win Gold Gloves out there? I don't know if he's going to win Gold Gloves from here on in, but you know, for the most part, he's going to be okay. And if you utilize him the right way, they certainly could use the extra left-handed bat in the lineup, even if he profiles as an even lefty versus lefty, lefty versus righty guy or whatever. It's you're forcing the other team to account for that in the matchup, and they haven't been able to do that in past years for the Yankees. So they have a year of his contract left. They could let him play it out, decide what they want to do with him, but let's not force the guy into the 2-hole, the 4-hole, or the 5-hole. You got other bats there. Let him bat a little bit lower in the order. And you know what? If he's having a good season and he unlocks a couple of something else in his game, then move him up. But there's no reason he can't be a decently successful contributor for the Yankees. And, it has to do with his overall profile. He'll still get on base. He's still going to strike out a lot, but just try to reduce that a little bit by, using the shift to your great, great advantage.
Yeah.
Amen. How about my giant hat? Broke out the giant hat. You know why? Because there might not be many other times where I could do that this year.
It was a nice day. Nice day for once on Sunday.
And I missed the whole thing.
Sorry. I was gonna take a nap too. I was as you were saying. I was already wiped out from the playoffs, and I went camping this past weekend. It was a little chilly out there on Friday and Saturday night. But
before, you know what? I was trying to transition us into Die Hard Dads, but
right?
I felt I felt a little dirty when I was doing that, and I really needed to get washed. And it sounds like your car probably needs a wash. The truck needs a wash after a weekend with the Scouts, dog. So what would you do if you were coming up to around my neighborhood? And
if I was coming back from up in your neck of the woods, I would swing by and see Big Ed.
Oh, that's right. Big Ed's Car Wash in Fair Lawn, New Jersey.
Right there. Easy on, easy off.
Easy on, easy off. Yeah. Right. Passaic County, Bergen County, right there. Pretty centrally located. A lot of good places to eat around there, too. Go grab a bite and check out Big Ed. You know why they call him Big?
You do it, Riz.
Why do they call him Big Ed, dog?
Because he's got the biggest tunnel around.
He does. So go check out Big Ed's Big Tunnel, Fair Lawn, New Jersey. Big Ed's Car Wash, and you don't need you could use your nav system to get there. But if you're a little old school, dog, and you like to, see a printed map sort of and the layout of one of your favorite parks, you go to sportsmaps.com. That's maps with a Z, sportsmapswithaz.com for a great piece of art for your home, your office, or your home office. Sports Maps with a Z, sportsmapz.com. And if you want to get the word out about your new home and your new office location, or you have promotional material that you want to get out, you go to fmsgraphics.com, a family-owned, family-run business for over 50 years. fmsgraphics.com for all your printing and promotional needs. fmsgraphics.com. Check them out. And now we check out Die Hard Dads. So I alluded to the hockey triple header, so you could go check out the, if you Google Joe Rizzo Rockets or you search it on YouTube, you could check out those videos over there. And while you're on YouTube, go to Diamond Diehards and subscribe to that because you'll be in an exclusive club right now if you do that. So that was, that's quite a fulfilling role that I play in doing that. But one of the things that it often does is it takes up many times an entire Sunday, and that definitely cuts into the football watching. So I missed in its entirety the Giants game. Not that I would have watched the Jets game because it was on the same time, but I missed that. I didn't watch any football really at all. I watched a little bit at night after I got back in, but it was nice to see that the Giants pulled out a victory but also the Luisa Rizzo-led New Jersey Rockets 19U girls pulled out a nice victory over Snyder Hockey. That was a 3-0 win. So
Nice.
you could check that out. And that part of life is rounding in, and then there's this other part of, being a dad where, um, well, some situations change, but in the sort of, conventional nuclear family, it's the mom and the dad, ahead of times before they're moms and dads. They're, husband and wife or something to that effect in some kind of union, and happy well, I'm going to say it now. It's a little early. Happy early birthday, Debbie Rizzo, who without whom I would not be able to do the Diamond Die Hard show, and I would not be certainly able to do the Die Hard Dads segment. So, dedicating this one to the beautiful Mrs. Riz. That does that count as a Die Hard Dads? Oh, pfft, I almost totally blew it.
Happy outkicking the coverage.
Oh yeah, thank you. Takes one to know one. Oh, so here's my diehard dad. So we've talked a little bit here and there about the Rizzo pool installation, which they started digging April 29th, and it's October 25th now. And we've had a pool for a while, but all the stuff, it's not. You can't just like grab your towel and go in the pool and hang out. It's like you got to kind of plan the thing out. So today, still, they are putting the tile around the pool. So we can't close the pool, dog, because why can't we close the pool? There's nothing to fasten the pool cover to. But we have one of these like electric pool covers that like can keep debris out, and it sort of like also keeps the heat in a little bit. It's not really like purposely meant for that, but it kind of does a good job on that too.
Mhm.
So we're like, why don't we, a couple of weeks ago, we're like, why don't we just try to, we'll put the cover on, we'll clean it up. You got to clean the stupid thing up. And if we put the cover on and we heat the pool, it'll like retain some of that heat, and like, we could let the kids go grab a dip like sometime here in October. They might have gone in, like they went in one day, and then like one thing led to another, and the cover was on, and we threw the heater on again, and I had to get the cover off tonight because of this storm. So it's actually better to not have it covered when it's raining, because the rain gets on the cover and you got to clear the water off the cover before you could close it. I was like, but whatever. So, long story short, I cleared that cover off, rolled it up, and mere like just probably an hour before we were on the air, producer Xavier and I took a dip in the pool in
We
North
were quite
Jersey
we were
at
quite
night,
jealous.
at night on October 25th. So that felt good. And I had to bribe him with, he's like, I'll go in the pool with you if you get me Dairy Queen. I'm like, you're getting Dairy Queen, dude. No problem. So
You were
I
partying like a Hilbert.
so I had Dairy Queen for dinner. And they have the Halloween sprinkles, which are fabulous, by the way.
And
Go,
fantastic.
go treat yourself. Trust me. So there, wow, I carried you on Die
I
Hard
think I
Dads.
you know I think we should just rest on that. Actually, you completely knocked it out of the park. So
I complete you.
I just went camping. So
Yeah, that's
so
pretty good
I'm
too.
not too good.
You went camping and you haven't hit Big Ed's yet.
That's
Big
right.
Ed's going to take a little hit on business probably with this storm. Nobody's going to be going to get their cars washed, but you know what? It's honestly it's worth it. You put your car through there, and even if it rains on it, it's like the rain just beads right off of it. Like it still looks clean for another week, even in bad weather. So I don't know what he's like doing in there. I know it's really green, but like it literally is like the best car wash I've ever been to. Like Jose Canseco and his car wash would be so jealous of Big Ed. Like it's not bullshit. Like we love Big Ed. You get to meet Big Ed one day. You'll be up here.
I gotta get all the crap out of the truck and then go up there and give it over to Big Ed.
He's only
He's
around the block.
magic.
Yeah. All right, dog. Follow social media wise at Diamond Diehards everywhere. If you want to join Big Ed, fmsgraphics.com, and sportsmaps with a z.com, doing some business. Then you could hit us up on LinkedIn, if you want, or you could just find us anywhere on any of the social medias. Even if you tweet us, Facebook, you say, hey, how do I get involved with that? Then definitely for sure we're up for those conversations, and you'll be talking directly to either Dawg or me directly, dealing with it. That's the way we roll on there. So elsewhere, we want you to hit up those sites, hit the subscribe button or the follow button, and if there's alerts there, hit sign up for alerts as well, so you know whenever we're coming on, especially if we're on Facebook doing live. We might mess around in the off season of baseball here again, streaming live to some of the other platforms, but Facebook's just really, really, really friendly for that at the moment, and we'll at least stick to that. Like, it's been so easy for us to do that. I think that we've just added more live shows lately after we weren't kind of doing them for a while. And then as we get in the off season as well, like we did last season, we'll try to increase the guest list and make that a little more fun for you as well, talking about, the CBA. And, I'm sure our pal Mike Puma will come on and do a Mets retrospective here at some point. Of course, as we get ready to sign off, that means Mike Serra has joined the chat room. And yes, there he is. He's as usual. I join as you appear to be signing off. That's right, Mike. But the great news is, even if you're not catching it live, it's available on demand at your leisure and all podcast apps, iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, YouTube, Facebook, wherever you want to go. You can check it out on video or audio. And if you want to check out the dog on Twitter, he's at Jeff Healy 8. That's the number 8. And I'm at Diamond Diehards on Twitter, running that account over there. Elsewhere, we both see all the messages. So I think that's going to do it. Maybe we're due for another TikTok dump this week, Dog, during the World Series or after. So maybe we'll talk about that offline. In the meantime, that's going to do it for, I guess, what turned out to be a Monday Night Live. We didn't even bill it as that, but it was Monday Night Live. Some of our best shows have been Monday Night Lives, and maybe we can put that one in the archive as well for tonight on October 25th. So happy early birthday, Debbie Rizzo. And get ready, because a full season followed by a full World Series is upon us. And that will do it for this show. For the dog, Jeff Healy, this is Joe Rizzo. Diamond Diehards is out.